Undervalued, but by how much? Could this beautiful shiny metal ever reach its full potential? Thompson Coin and Stamp here, and let's talk about silver. Hope everybody is doing good this morning. Silver is currently setting at $36.24 per troy ounce. We'll go over here and check gold. We're setting at $3,394.68, and those are both according to Kitco. If you look at AppMex, they're showing $36.61 for silver and $34.14 for gold. So there's always a little bit of a price difference there. But talking about being undervalued, let's look at silver and its historical significance and value. Usually it was about a 14.76 to 1 ratio back in 1933. Gold set at $20.67 per ounce, and there was a troy ounce of silver in $1.40 of constitutional silver. So that meant it took a 14.76 to 1 gold to silver ratio. But right now we're setting at, I believe, around a 90 something. It's 95 to 1 gold to silver ratio this morning. So that's a big difference. But let's look at a article here on kitco.com by Melissa Pistilli. It says, could the silver price really hit $100 per ounce? I think we could go higher, but let's take a look and see what they say. They're talking with Keith Newmeyer of First Majestic Silver, It says, will the First Majestic Silver CEO's silver price prediction of more than $100 per ounce come true? The silver spot price has surged nearly 30% in the first half of 2025 to reach a 13-year high as it broke through the $36 mark in early June. Silver has relied on growing economic uncertainty amidst ongoing geopolitical tensions and Trump's escalating trade war. Well-known figure Keith Newmeyer, CEO of First Majestic Silver, has frequently said he believes the white metal could climb even further, hitting the $100 mark or even reaching as high as $130 per ounce. Newmeyer has voiced this opinion often in recent years. He put up a $130 price target in a November 2017 interview with Palisade Radio, and he also discussed it in an August 2022 interview with Wall Street Silver. He has reiterated his triple-digit silver price forecast in multiple interviews with Kitco over the years, including one in March of 2023. In 2024, Newmeyer made his $100 silver call in a conversation with ITM Trading Daniela Cambone at the Prospectors and Developers Association of Canada convention, and in April of that year, he acknowledged his reputation as the triple-digit silver guy on the Todd Alt podcast. Are you still stacking at these prices? Let me know. In 2024, Newmeyer made his $100 silver call in a conversation. Oh, I already read that part. Excuse me. At times, he's been even bolder, suggesting in the 2016 that silver could reach $1,000 if gold were to hit $10,000 an ounce. More recently, his expected timeline for $100 silver has been pushed back, but he remains very bullish in the long term. In order to better understand where Newmeyer's opinion comes from and whether a triple-digit silver price is really in the cards, it is important to take a look at the factors that affect the metal's movements, as well as where prices have been in the past and whether the other industries insiders think silver could be headed. First, let's dive a little deeper into Newmeyer's $100 prediction. It says, why is Newmeyer calling for $100 silver price? Well, it's probably because this stuff just is worthless. Nobody wants that failing fiat currency. He says Newmeyer believes silver could hit $100 due to a variety of factors, including its consistent deficit, its industrial demand, and how undervalued it is compared to gold. Undervalued. There's a significant distance for silver to go before it reaches the success Newmeyer has boldly predicted. In fact, in order for the precious metal to jump to the $100 mark, its price would have to increase from its current value by around 175%. Neumeier has previously stated that he expects a triple-digit silver price in part because he believes the market cycle could be compared to the year 2000, when investors were sailing high on the dot-com bubble and the mining sector was down. He thinks it's only a matter of time before the market corrects, like it did in 2001 and 2002. Commodities see a big rebound in pricing. It was during 2000 that Neumeier himself invested heavily in mining stocks and came out on top. I've been calling for triple-digit silver for a few years now, and I'm more enthused now, Neumeier said in an event in January 2020, noting that there are multiple factors behind this reasoning. But I'm cautiously enthused because, I thought it would have happened sooner than it currently is happening. In his August 2022 with Wall Street Silver, he reiterated his support for triple-digit silver and said he's fortunately not alone in this optimistic view. In fact, he has been surpassed in that optimism. I actually saw someone the other day call for $500 silver, he said. I'm not quite sure I'm at that level. Give me $50 first, and we'll see what happens after that. Another factor driving Neumeier's position is his belief that the silver market is in a deficit. In a May 2021 interview, when presented with supply-side data from the Silver Institute indicating the biggest surplus in silver market history, Neumeier was blunt in his skepticism. I think these numbers are made up, he said. I wouldn't trust them at all. He pointed out that subtracting net investments in silver exchange traded products leaves the market in a deficit, and also questioned the methodology behind the Institute's recycling data, given the most recycled silver metal comes from privately owned smelters and refineries that typically don't make those figures public. Trying to get my camera to mess up on me there. There we go. He says, I'm guessing the mining sector produced something in the order of 800, maybe 825 million ounces in 2022, Neumeier said when giving a Q4 2022 overview for his company. Consumption numbers look like they're somewhere between 1.2 and 1.4 billion ounces. That's due to all the great technologies, all the newfangled gadgets that we're consuming, electric vehicles, solar panels, windmills, you name it. All these technologies require silver. That's a pretty big supply deficit. In December of 2023 interview with Kitco, Neumeier stressed that silver is more than just a poor man's gold, and he spoke to silver's important role in electric vehicles and solar cells. In line with his view on silver, First Majestic is a member of a consortium of silver producers that in January 2024 sent a letter to the Canadian government urging that silver be recognized as a critical mineral. Silver's inclusion on the list will allow silver producers to accelerate the development of strategic projects with financial and administrative assistance from the Canadian government. Canada's critical minerals list is expected to get an update in the summer of 2024. He's in his 2024 PDAC interview, Neumeier once again highlighted his sizable imbalance in the silver supply-demand picture. We're 6 years into this deficit. The deficit in 2024 looks like it's going to be bigger than 2023. And why is that? Because miners aren't producing enough silver for the needs of the human race. More controversially, Neumeier is of the opinion that the white metal will eventually become uncoupled from its sister metal gold. It should be seen as strategic metal due to its necessity in many everyday appliances, from computers to electronics, as well as the technologies mentioned above. He has also stated that silver production has gone down in recent years, meaning that contrary to popular belief, he believes the metal is actually a rare commodity. Neumeier's March 2023 triple-digit silver call is a long-term call, and he explained that while he believes gold will break 3,000 this year, so this is really outdated here, but this is a new article that was just, from a few days ago, he thinks silver will only reach $30 in 2023. However, once the gold-silver ratio is that imbalanced, he believes that silver will begin to take off, and it will just need a catalyst. He said it could be Elon Musk taking position in silver space. There's going to be a catalyst at some time, and the headlines in the Wall Street Journal might talk about the silver supply deficit. I don't know what the catalyst will be, but investors and institutions will wake up the fundamentals of the metal, and that's when it start to move. So let's scroll down here. It says, what factors affect the silver price? In order to glean a better understanding of the precious metal's chances of trading around the $100 range, it is important to examine the elements that could push it to the level or pull it further away. The strength of the U.S. dollar and U.S. Federal Reserve interest rates are factors that will continue to affect the precious metal, as are geopolitical issues and supply and demand dynamics. Although Newmeyer believes that the ties that bind silver to gold need to be broken, the reality is that most of the same factors that shape the price of gold also move silver. He says, for that reason, it's helpful to look at gold price drivers when trying to understand silver price action. Silver is, of course, the more volatile of the two precious metals, but nevertheless is often traded in relative tandem with gold. It says, when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, the Fed cut rates down to 0 from 1 to 1.25%. However, rising inflation led the Fed and other central banks to hike rates, which negatively impacted gold and silver. Let's see here. We'll go down to, could silver ever hit $100 per ounce? While we can't know if we'll reach $100 per ounce silver in the near future, there is support for Newmeyer's belief that the metal is undervalued and that ideal conditions are present for silver prices to rise. Many on board with Newmeyer in the idea that silver's prospects are bright, including Gary Savage, president of the Smart Money Tracker newsletter, who stated in a May 2025 interview with INN that $100 is going to be a piece of cake for silver. He also stated he believes $500 is likely sometime, maybe in 3 or 4 years. So, if the silver price does rise further, how far can it go? Can it go that high? Let's look at silver's recent history. The highest price for silver was just under $50 in the 70s, and it came close to that level again in 2011. The commodities price uptick came on the back of a very strong silver investment demand. While it has yet to reach those levels again, the silver price has increased significantly in recent years. Sorry if you can hear my dog scratching. After spending the latter half of 2010s and the teens, the 2020s have seen silver largely hold above $20. In 2020, the price of silver reached nearly $28.50 before pulling back again and moved back up near those highs in February 21. Price of silver saw a 2022 high point of $26.46 in February and passed $26 again in both May and November. Silver rallied in the latter part of the first quarter of 24, and by April 12th was once again flirting with the $30 mark as it reached an 11-year high of $29.26. Despite pulling back to $26 levels soon after, by October 22, the price of silver had a nice run in the lead up to the election, rising up to $34.80. However, a stronger dollar and signs that the Federal Reserve may not be so quick to cut interest rates as deeply as previously expected were seen as price negative for the silver. The precious metals price was in a downward slide for much of the remainder of the year. For much of the first half of 2025, silver has followed gold higher on factors including persistent inflationary pressures brought on by Trump's aggressive tariff announcements and the ongoing geopolitical risks in the Middle East. As of June 2025, the price of silver had reached a 13-year high above the $36 mark, up almost 30% since the beginning of the year. So where do you see silver going? Do you see the price hitting $100? Could we hit $130? Could we hit at $500? I really see silver as being undervalued. It comes out of the ground at about a 7-to-1 gold to silver ratio, sometimes 9-to-1, just depends on the year. If we factored that in, we're looking, $400 silver easily with the price of gold as it is. So let me know. Drop me a comment in the box down here and let me know what you think. If you think this beautiful metal is going to reach $100 this year or higher. Let me know if you think it is undervalued. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for our weekly coin roll hunt and chat. Until next time, Thompson Coin and Stamp is out.